By Black Podcast, episode 19. Faith is Fuel. My guest, Jamel LaBranch, shares how he overcame losing two sisters and founded his designer sunglass company to honor their legacy and give back to the community. Welcome to By Black, the only podcast dedicated to helping you find, connect with, and support Black-owned businesses. We're on a mission to bring consumers and business owners together to ignite the global Black economy. I'm your host, Gerald Jones, and if you're a Black business owner or a socially conscious consumer, you've joined the right community. Ready? Let's get to work. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today for this episode of By Black Podcast. Before we get into this interview with Jamel, there's a couple of housekeeping things that I wanted to go over and catch you guys up. The first thing is, if you have been following the show, you'll recognize that we missed a week of recording for the first time since the show began. There's a reason for that. I had an episode in mind that I wanted to do this last week, but to do it right, it required a little bit more research than I had the time to do. Now, I didn't just want to throw it out there. So I'm going to be making it up. The episode that you're hearing right now is coming out on this Monday. I'm going to have another episode that's going to come out Thursday. So that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 3 days from now, there'll be a second episode coming out for this week that's going to get us back on schedule. And that episode is going to be about the tax reform that is potentially moving through the House and the Senate. I think now it's got to go through the Reconciliation Committee. So we don't know exactly what tax reform is going to look like, but knowing the political environment, it is going to happen. And we need to know as a Black community just exactly what that means for us. I don't subscribe to listening to what the news wants to tell me about what's happening with politics. I do my own research. I come to my own conclusions. And I'm going to share those with you guys based on a couple of articles that were out there and how I interpreted the information that's directly from the bills itself. So once again, I didn't just want to throw that episode out there because I know you want to try to hit a news cycle when people are paying attention and all this stuff about, timeliness of your shows. I don't care about that. I want to make sure the information is right and useful for you. So I will get that episode out. The second thing, we've got several interviews lined up over the next couple of weeks. Currently on my calendar, I've got 4 of them lined up. And so we should be good through the end of the year having a new episode, a new interview, a new business for you every single week through the end of the year. But I highly encourage you. I still need you guys to connect me with these businesses that need support, that need the exposure. If you know somebody, they've got a Black-owned business, send them my way because all I want to do is help them get their name to more people on a bigger platform. And so I really appreciate the support you guys have given so far. The emails that have come in, questions about the online sell on the e-commerce, and then point me in the direction of businesses. That has been great. Keep them coming, guys. The more businesses that we get exposure for, the better our community is going to be economically. So I really appreciate that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that over the last few weeks, in having different conversations with people and connecting and talking about this project, I've come to realize that By Black may not be the intent of this show. And I want to bring it to you. I want to find out your opinion about rebranding this show, because Buying Black is only a part of what really needs to happen. What I want to be a part of and what my ultimate intent is to build the Black community. And through just buying Black, we still are in the mindset of consumerism, which is that is what is killing our community in the first place. It's the fact that when we get $1, we spend $1. When we get $1, we just give it away in exchange for something else that does not appreciate And so teaching us or encouraging us to just spend our money in a different place doesn't actually build our community up. It doesn't repair anything. And so my real goal is to re-inspire an attitude, a set of skills, a culture of building in the Black community. And so with that, yeah, absolutely. We want to buy Black, and I want to put Black-owned businesses in front of this audience so that we can spend our money in those businesses. But I don't want it to just be the businesses that are already out there that are owned by Black people. Spending our money in already huge Black-owned businesses doesn't do anything to change outcomes in the community. The more ground level, the more grassroots Black-owned businesses that we are able to inspire, to start, and then support economically, that is really where we're going to change our future. And so with that, I am heavily considering changing the branding for this entire podcast to Build Black rather than Buy Black. Before I do that, I want to hear from you. I want to know what your opinion is on that. If there's a different direction that you think it should go, or a different way of branding the podcast that would get that message across, that would connect with you and connect with more people. So if you will, please email me. That's gjones@buyblackpodcast.com. Again, that's gjones@buyblackpodcast.com. Give me your opinion, your insights, your recommendations. Do you think that the podcast should stay the way that it is with the same branding? Do you think that Build Black would be a better fit for what this podcast is intended to do? Or do you have a completely different idea for how to brand it to accomplish that overall mission that we have of reinvigorating our building spirit within the community? Email me, gjones@buyblackpodcast.com. I would love to hear what you think. And then ultimately, we're going to make a decision together, and we're going to go forward together, because that's what this thing is all about. It's all about community, working together, making decisions, and making things better. So with that, I appreciate you walking through that with me. We're going to get right into the interview with Jamel LaBranch. He owns a company called FIFshades.com. Or fifthshades.com. That stands for Faith is Fuel. He's got some incredible high quality designer sunglasses that you are not going to want to miss. And the conversation with this guy, it's inspiring and absolutely enlightening, because he's got a whole other business that he just kind of slides in there on me nonchalantly. So you'll definitely want to hear him talk. You're definitely going to want to check out his website and get your hands on some Faith is Fuel shades. All right, I'll quit talking. Let's jump right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to Buy Black, your only podcast dedicated to helping you find and connect with Black-owned businesses. And guess what? I know that you will not be able to believe it, but we actually have an interview happening today. Yes, I finally connected with my man Jamel LaBranch, and we are going to talk to the founder and CEO of FIF Shades, or Fifth Shades. It can be a word or it can be an acronym, right? I think that's what I saw on your site.
That's correct.
Absolutely. So we are going to be talking to Jamel LaBranch today. Jamel, thank you for joining me and coming on the show.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you for having me.
Awesome. So just so you guys know, me and Jamel have been competitors on the basketball court for like the last couple of years. And much like two dudes that are on the basketball court, often, we might trade elbows in the paint, but we don't usually exchange those pleasantries like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? So I came to find out about Jamel and his business through a mutual friend of ours that we also play ball with, that I happen to work with. And he was like, man, I got a guy you need to talk to. And so we exchanged information. We finally connected with each other via text. And then lo and behold, we find out that it's the same dude that's been kicking my butt for the last couple of years on the basketball court. So it makes me really excited to be able to help and put your business out front on blast. I'm really excited about today.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you for having me, man. This is an honor for Fifth Shades, man. We're, new, like I said, I'm new to the market. We started maybe last year, maybe just a little bit after this in January, February. And I just want to get in the actual business. Fifth Shades is actually, like you said, Faith is Fuel, or fifth. A lot of people say FIF. And the reason the name is because my oldest sister that raised me pretty much, while my mother and father were actually, working, trying to make a better living for us. Something that she actually stood by. She taught me a lot of things. She's 13 years older than me, but she taught me, to care for others, love family, give back when you have, and to keep faith. And while she, taught me all those different things, she actually had a disease, lupus, and that's, a disease that, women carry that, can cause, harm, and, their system pretty much, can fail. And one day while we were in the hospital, I believe at Mayo, I stayed with her, and I stayed with her in the hospital, and I just remember me just sitting there thinking, I couldn't sleep that night, and I asked her, "How can you keep going, sis? Like, you're going through a lot. They're poking a lot of holes in you, taking a lot of pills. You're sick. I just don't see how you can keep going." And she told me, "I just want you to remember one thing: if something ever happens to me, faith is fuel." And I just remember, wow, like that really hit me. I don't know what age I really was at the time, but I just remember that saying in that hospital, and that's where the name came from. I just remember her telling me that. So.
Wow. So did you lose your sister to lupus?
Yeah, so to get more in depth with that, my ninth grade year, I was playing basketball at Orchard Park, and I got a phone call, and my father told me to come home. I just knew something must have happened. I came home, and he told me my sister she died, and that's where my life honestly probably went for the worst. I took a more negative, spin, and I didn't go to school as much. I would just skip class. I stopped playing basketball, and things were just more negative for me. I lost a person, that literally, my sister, 12, 13 years older than me, but she, she raised me. She did everything. I mean, she taught me a lot, while my family was out trying to make a living for us. And now she was gone, so it was just, negative things were, affecting me. I just didn't think nothing was worth anything. So it took me a while to get, back from that. Never really have got back from that, but, that was just hard for me, and I just thought, man, nobody else is going to really care from that standpoint. But, I got back, started playing back to school. I got a scholarship to UNO. I played ball there, and then I actually went into the Air Force. I was stationed up in New Jersey, and I was stationed there until one day, January of 2015, I got a phone call. I was out in Atlantic City, and someone called me, and my sister, my youngest sister, she was shot and murdered here in Omaha, and I just, for maybe a day, couldn't speak, couldn't talk, didn't want to say anything to anybody. I just couldn't believe it, because this is the sister that I raised living with my father while I went to, Northwest, and now she was gone, and she left a son here. So the military actually moved me back here to Offutt to help, take care of, her son and, help with the family. And so at that standpoint, I just didn't, think like, wow, why these type of things, are these happening? Why am I losing, so many close people to me? And, first my sister who raised me, and now the sister that I helped raise growing up, both gone. This isn't fair. That's my mindset. That was my thought process. But one day I was sleeping, Gerald, and this is as true as it really could be. I just, something hit me one day. It was like my sisters, were talking to me while I was asleep, and I just woke up, and one day that phrase that I just told you came out, where my sister said, "Faith is fuel, Jamel, and you need to touch people." And that's what my sister was all about. My youngest sister was the most caring person as well. So it was just like two peas in a pod there. And I changed my thought process on things, on, wanting to give or help people. And that's where I thought to myself, well, how can I do that? Maybe I should own something. Maybe I should do something that I'll be able to give. I don't have enough money right now where I can just go out, and help, individuals or kids or anything like that. So I thought about me owning a business. I already had properties and things like that, to help me, fund a business, but something that I can actually probably hand down, for my son or something like that in the future. So I decided to, every day I would come home after work, and I would just sit there and write down things. You know, the best thing to me to, you know, start something or do something is to write things down, or to, you know, your brain works better that way, I feel. And I somehow one day I was talking to a friend of mine named Jay Donaldson, which I'll connect you with him later. He has a watch line. Me and him both at the same time were thinking the same thing.
Okay.
And yeah, he's actually has this line up and running and everything. And me and him were around the same time thinking of this. And he thought of the idea of watches, which he loves watches. And I have really sensitive eyes, and I'm always wearing sunglasses. And it's like something just popped in my head. You know, well, why don't you own sunglasses? And you know, I told him that that's what I was thinking about doing. And you know, he thought, man, you're really picky, man. I don't think you're gonna be able to find something like that. And I actually did, though. I reached out. I contacted a couple, you know, people in Japan, China, you know, through Skype messages and things like that. And you know, they sent over a lot of products, samples that I, you know, had to purchase. And it's funny, Joe, that a lot of things you see online, or a lot of things you see once you see them in person, for the most part, sometimes, you know, you think, oh man, that looks really hot, that looks really good, and until you get it, you know, it's not that. So it took me maybe 4 or 5 months to even find, you know, maybe 2 pair of you know, models that I actually designed, or I actually, you know, work with them on to be to my, you know, not, you know, something I would actually sell, you know, because I like my stuff to be, you know, polarized is really big, UV 400, that's really big. Those are things that you really need your sunglasses to be. So I went out and, you know, figured this out, found that, you know, and took a lot of marketing classes in college to help me, you know, with this type of business. Sure enough, that's where I decided, you know, hey, I think I have a couple, you know, models that I actually like, that I actually think I can sell. I wanted things to be unique. I wanted them to be different. I wanted something that would stand out on top of quality, because a lot of people nowadays that, you know, the biggest challenge that I feel like Fifth Shades has had was, you know, people would see my sunglasses and, oh my gosh, these are nice. These are, you know, I like the quality. But, you know, people wouldn't want to buy because, you know, it doesn't say, you know, Ray-Ban or Oakley or, you know, one of those type of names, you know, and that I just wish people would not buy because of the name, but buy because of the quality. So it took me a while to, you know, get over that, you know, and that's where it comes at, hey, you got to be able to sell your brand. You got to be able to push it the right way. And then things start changing for people that I start to see that wanted to buy, you know, in certain places. They bought because they felt like it was a new next hottest thing, the best thing coming out, or, you know, something that's different, you know. So there are people out here that I feel that want things that everybody doesn't have, or they are tired of the name brands, and things like that. So that's where, you know, I get the most feedback from, or the people that I actually do want to wear my sunglasses.
Yeah. So if I can, I wanna track back just a little bit. If it's all right, I wanted to go back and ask you.
Yeah, I know I kept rambling off.
Oh no, it's good,
go
man.
ahead.
You like me, you get excited about something and just go. I'm the same way. But I wanted to ask a little bit more about with your sisters, with your older sister and your younger sister. And you said, you know, obviously when you lost your older sister, you went into kind of a dark place. And I wanted to go back and, if you could, kind of elaborate more on what happened, and then how you managed to claw out of that and make the decision to, you know, take a different path, join the military and go that route. And I asked because, you know, that's obviously a tragic thing that happened in your family, but it's something that happens a lot to people in our community. And it's so easy to, if you haven't experienced that, to just say, oh, well, you know, you just kind of grow out of it and you move on. But for people who have experienced that, I think we lose way too many people who don't figure out a way to push through, who don't figure out a way to get over to the other side. And so what can you tell us about how you kind of went through that phase of trying to deal with it and work through, and then what it was that kind of got you on a different path, and the decisions that you started making that kind of led you to where you're at now?
Well, my sister Shamina died. I want to say the thing that got me actually back was her and me thinking she's looking down on me, so I can't disappoint her, so I wanted to go back to school, she was the loudest person in the gym when I played basketball. She was there for everything. So I felt like I was letting her down by, skipping school, not playing ball anymore. So I went back, and I got me a scholarship and things like that. So I was doing it to make sure I was doing right by her. So I never could say that I never got over the things that, hurt me losing her, but I felt like I was doing what she would want and what she would be happy for. So that pushed me to do that. And then me losing my other sister, I felt like that was just like my heart was just still hurting from, losing my older sister. But when I lost her, that's where I just felt like, oh my gosh, this is, tragic. These aren't just, somebody that, elder, somebody older that might have died, but, people young, people that I grew up with, people that are super close to me at these ages are, dying, and it's not expected, and that really hurt. So for me to get over her, I felt like it was just something that always looking at they're not gone. They're still here. They're still with me. I can make them happy or I can make them sad. I'm making them sad if I'm not, being productive. I'm not doing something that's positive. I'm not touching other people. So, I go out and I speak to kids. I've spoken, to NCAT, and I just explained to them, I just spoke with them not too long ago. I just explained to them that, somebody invested in you somewhere. Don't make it, not worth their time. So my sisters both, they invested in me somewhere, somehow. So I need to make sure it's worth it. I need to make sure I put an effort to it. I need to touch somebody else's life. So I crawled out of there thinking with less negative thoughts, or no negative thoughts actually, and just try to stay positive about every situation. I think that both of them are gone for a reason. God doesn't make mistakes, and for that, that's why he had it happen. But now, it's touching me in a way where, I'm able to touch other kids, and, other kids are able to see things that I've went through and think what I've come from it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand that, man. So me, I relate to those feelings that you have, and I relate to kind of the way that you turn them into action. Cause, so I was the only child growing up. But 10 years ago this year, I lost my father, and, I kind of feel like I was fortunate. If there's, and man, I don't know how to say this, right? Like when you're trying to explain something good coming out of something that hurts really bad, it's kind of hard to say it because you think people aren't going to understand like what you mean. But I feel like I was fortunate to lose him when I was 25 years old because, when I was a kid, my dad was the loudest person in the gym, right? But he was loud in the gym, and then we would be in the car on the way home. And, man, I remember it. I don't think there was a single night that I wasn't in tears because he would just read me. Like he was the consummate athlete. So he expected me to be, head over heels above everybody. And I didn't have what he called the eye of the tiger or the fighting spirit or whatever. I was just like, cool. But I grew up and he and I had kind of like a tortured relationship with each other because I knew that he loved me. And I knew that the only reason that he was so hard on me is because he knew that the potential that I had. But me being kind of a young, hard-headed kid, I didn't want to accept it. I wanted to go my own way. And when I grew up, I joined the Marines, and he and I fell out for years. And it really wasn't until a few months before he died that we had reconciled, and then he passed. And, my reaction at that point was, what work do I need to do? Right. Like what do I need to do to keep everybody from falling apart? Cause my dad was the heart of our family. I mean, everybody knew him. And everybody in the family kind of looked at him as he was the glue. And so the glue was gone. And I cope with it by immediately throwing myself into kind of trying to be him. And hold the family together and take care of all the business and just push all the feelings down and focus on that work. But then after it was all over with, after he was in the ground and all of the bills were paid and everybody was calm and we were going into the holiday season, man, I had a complete breakdown because I put all this pressure on myself to kind of be him for everybody while in that time. And then after all the pressure was gone, it was like it just all exploded and it just all came out at once. But then after that, over time, I had that same kind of growth that you had with your sisters of, what is it that my father stood for on this earth? Like, what did people know him for? And he was a person who selflessly gave to everybody. I mean, it didn't matter who it was. I remember growing up, man, I would be in the truck with him and we would be making the rounds around town and we literally were just going to different people's houses and it was either visiting friends or it was helping somebody out with their yard or it was something like my dad was he was that guy. And so coming out of that, it showed me in order to honor his life, right? He's not gone. I can, just like you said, I can make him proud. I can make him upset by the way that I live his legacy. I've got to do something with my life where I'm giving back. I feel like that response to a man or a woman who kind of has that in them and has that love for the person they lost, I think we all just end up coming around to that response of how can I give back? So I commend you for also identifying that and then taking the steps and the action to make it happen. That's incredible. I did have one thing that I wrote down while you were talking. You were saying that you wanted to give back, but you didn't have anything to give. And so you created something. That speaks to me because that's a huge thing in the Black community. It's like we don't all have, thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting around. But if you create a business, you're creating something that you can use to give back. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about how you are using your platform to give back, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the actual business itself. But we started going down this road, man. So I wanted to explore that a little bit.
Oh yeah, of course. So the way I wanted to give back is, I thought, well, I talked to a couple people, a couple mentors, a couple people that I know are successful, and I explained to them what I wanted to do with a business, which is already had the idea, already had a business plan, already had all these things written out for a business. But I told them that one thing I wanted to do that I felt like, my sisters were speaking to me about was, giving back. And I told them I wanted to make sure at most, I wanted to make sure I at least gave back, 10% of each sale. Or 15% if I could, something for the community, for kids, for youth, for homeless, just to give back to people that are actually in need. And, maybe 4 out of 5 of them said, hey, you got to make sure you are, stable and your company is actually, your business is actually being successful before you give. And for the first time, for my mentors and people that I actually know that have businesses, I just disagree with that completely. That was not going to happen. I feel like, in life, you have to give if you want to receive anything. And I'm not actually doing it just to receive something, but my sisters were big with, giving. And that's just something I want to do. So I make sure, I take the 10 to 15%. And I put it into account. I do things where, I'll go, me and my son, we actually we give food out. We do things where, I'll go speak to an event, like I just told you, the NCAP, where we give away, gave them all sunglasses. We just do different things. Right now what I want to do is I'm trying to, whatever I get for the month of December on the 20th to the 23rd, I'm actually going to go buy coats, go buy shoes, socks, anything that, kids that people email me about or contact me about, anything I can help. If I get a list of 30 kids, at least if I can only help 5, that's better than 0. If I can touch somebody's life, you just have to give, because you don't know how much you can affect somebody's life by showing you care, that you did something for them. You can literally change somebody's life by doing something, the smallest things can be the biggest thing to certain people. So a coat on a kid's back can change his life from going out to steal from somebody or hurt somebody. He might actually think different. And that's just my mindset. I think America, we have a problem with, what just want to do things for ourselves. And if we just, everybody without or try to care or do for another person, then I think things will be different. So I just decided to take this business and, make sure I can give back. It's the way of, me being able to help somebody and feel like I did my part.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to connect you with another guy. Have you listened to the episode at all of where I interviewed Daniel Abaraha?
No, I didn't listen to that one yet.
All right,
no.
Yeah, you'll want to check it out. So Daniel has a company called Vita Shoes Company, and
I actually looked at the Vita shoes though. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
I didn't listen to the episode, but the Vita, yeah, I think I did. Yep, because you and your wife have a pair. I remember.
Yeah, we got our pair from him. So Daniel, he does something really interesting. One, he agrees with you completely. I don't need to wait till anything to help people out. I'm going to do it from jump. So what he does with his shoes, 10% of the retail price. So it's not even on the profits. It's literally 10% of every dollar that comes in on a pair of shoes. He puts aside in an account the same way that you're talking about. And then he takes all that money and he does a big project with an organization or a shelter or a home that helps homeless children. So I think you guys have a lot in common of the way that you want to go about giving back. It'd be really cool to connect you to talk more about kind of how you might be able to work together or how you can enhance the way that you're, being effective with the money that you are putting back. So, I'll get you guys hooked up to see if y'all can talk and work something out when we get done with this.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Cool. So going back, so we talked that you were going down the line talking about how you actually got the company started. And I want to go back to that because so the most recent episodes that I did of the show, the last one I believe was on private labeling your own products and starting off by trying to find products overseas. And if you can't find the product that you want overseas, designing it yourself and having a manufacturer build it for you. So it sounds like that's the process that you went through to get your company started. So can you talk to me about that? Like what lessons did you learn in getting this company started? And kind of what was your process for making it happen? How did you go from idea to, successful organization that you've got going right now?
Yeah, so oh my gosh, that was a show. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like you said, with overseas and drawing up your own products and things like that is you have to be very, very detailed and, specific on things because the littlest thing you can leave out or assume, never assume in this type of this business or, when you have someone designing something because they won't know. So, I had a lot of drawback things that had to come back or things that were done, not right or incorrectly. And I just had to make sure, the samples that was, received, it could be the quality, it could be the, a little bit of the way they, move something on the logo or, just little things. So I looked in state to see if there was somewhere that I can actually make things like this or somewhere I can design. But, unfortunately I wasn't able to find one. So I just, long months of, doing, 3-4 day shipping on, certain products that, I actually drawn up, I just wanted to have something that was different. So I did look at, things that people love wearing. But I have a bamboo pair that are actually on the line right now. The 20 to 25 range people, they have a certain model of sunglass that I swear everybody wears. I actually looked at that and looked at, well, what can I do to make it different than what they like, but at the same time be, quality. And I talked to my manufacturers. I took, the basic pair that a lot of people like wearing. I said, how can I make this, a different material? and they asked me which material, and I just thought, well, what's pretty cool. I said bamboo, and that's where the bamboo idea came up at, and they were able to, put it together. They sent me a pair, and it worked. So that's just an example of, making sure, you just have to communicate and be very thorough and in detail with who you're working with.
So is that these red bamboo pair that are on the site right now?
Yeah.
Man, these things are hot, man.
Yeah, they're really, I haven't met anybody that's purchased a pair. I actually, and that's another thing I guess I can say I do before I release anything. For anybody that's want to open up a business or do anything, you just want to get feedback. I had a lot of surveys and things. I just wanted people to be completely honest with about the products, and there was a lot of things that didn't make that I thought might work, but it. For the 100 people that I might have asked and I wanted to get information from, it wouldn't have been a hit. So this one I can say that everybody, that one was that's a favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why, man. I'm looking at it and just the detail and the markings from the bamboo itself, and then taking a look. I like the way that you got the FIF. Kind of branded into the side of the wood. Man, I'm telling you, anybody who's listening, if you are listening to this show, you need to go to fifshades.com. It's literally shades the way that you would say, shades. I don't know what other way to say that, but fifshades.com and go to take a look at the products. There's a new arrival on there that's red bamboo. You got to check it out. And of course, while you're looking at that one, look at all the other ones. You will not see sunglasses like this on anybody's line anywhere. You're not just going to go in the store and find shades like this. No. And
absolutely not.
the quality, the materials, the different designs. I mean, it quite honestly, I don't wear sunglasses because I've never been I don't have sensitive eyes, things like that. But when you can see a person, you look at them and you say, oh, okay, yeah, they got, sunglasses. Oh man, where did they get those? Every single pair of shades that is on this man's inventory is a pair of, oh man, where did they get those? So I'm telling you, you definitely want to get in there and you want to check them out. I'm sorry, that's just a shameless plug for your business, man. But this is what the whole show is about. I hopped in looking at them like, man, them red bamboo is hot. He is not lying.
Yeah, I get really excited about the when I made those. I just, and I thought for business and entrepreneurs, you just sit there and think. I try to listen to things with Warren Buffett or something like that. He does little things that people don't think about. Like he bought Coca-Cola, and he bought it because he raised the price a penny. And I think they sell 12 million or something like that a day. So him raising a penny, he makes 12 million. Or whatever the price, I think 1 point something a day just off of raising it a penny. So I look at it as, I looked at something that I think was hot, that people love, and how can I improve it a little or a lot, and you see what the product is, and I think that's just, a lot of people love those.
Yeah. Well, I can definitely see why. You got me over here thinking, man, maybe I do need a pair of sunglasses. I like it.
Yeah, Gerald. Yeah, we can get you a pair.
you don't get me in them. I tell you, who definitely will wear some good looking sunglasses. My wife will, and then I know that her sister and her best friend will. So we gonna get everybody suited up.
All right,
man. Where were we when I stopped you? Oh, you were talking about hardships and hurdles. So you were talking about the challenge of having quality product like this, unique product like this, and people being stuck on a brand name. So talk to me about that. How have you been able to overcome that so far? You were telling me before that you got some big names, some celebrities, some athletes that are wearing the product now. So what things have you done to overcome that brand name challenge?
For the brand name challenge, I just think that and show them your product, and to ask them to give it a chance, and like I said, I reached out to a couple, pro athletes, Anthony Tolliver, Willie Cauley-Stein, D'Angelo Russell for the Nets, and I actually reached out to them on social media and just showed them a couple of the pictures of the things that I was doing. A lot of celebrities, honestly, believe it or not, people wouldn't believe this, but a lot of celebrities like to find the next hot thing, next best thing, the next thing that's going to, for people to follow. So, and that's what, I remember D'Angelo Russell actually got some of the stuff he said actually on the website. He just said, these are hot. These are, I feel like what you have is the next best thing, man. And I want to be a part of it. Yeah, I want some. And that's just, when people see people like that, wearing it, yeah, of course they're going to wear it. But, I feel like the majority of America, they look at things as they buy by the name, not by the quality. Because there's a lot of things I see buy. I'm not going to say actually what brands, but I went out and I looked at my competitors, what they actually, are selling right now, and I match it to my quality. And it's night and day for me. I mean, and yes, I own 5th Shades, but I made sure that I brought a product that was actually better. And there's no way I would pay some of the prices that, some of these brands ask. But, people do just because of the name. And that's just, I just stay confident. Yeah, there was some downfall. There's times where, you'll get, down on yourself, or sales aren't going as well, for a month or things like that. But, to me, I look at it, it's the start. It feels easy. And if things were just, flying off the Raptor, with no downfalls, and, everybody would be doing it. So, everything has, a beginning, and you'll make your way up the ladder. And that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah. So you said you reached out to the celebrities on social media to kind of put the product in front of them. What platforms did you focus on? Was it Twitter? Was it Instagram? Like how did you make that contact? And what's the secret? How do you get them to respond to you and be interested in the product?
Yeah, so I'll just talk about D'Angelo Russell at first. That was I honestly, when I went to his messages on Instagram, I don't have a Twitter. I do have a Facebook, but you can't message them on Facebook. So on Instagram, I just sent him 3 pictures of my things I thought he would wear. I didn't say anything to him. I didn't write a long paragraph or anything like that. And I just sent him 3 and he just sent something back like hot. And I was like, oh man. So I just start talking to him, and he just seemed interested. I told him, what my vision was for the business. I told him, about, my programs that I'm trying to run with this. And he was really in awe with it. And he was like, man, I want to be a part of it. And, and that's how I start. That worked for him, and I reached out to a couple more people the same way. And I just feel like, when you reach out to like celebrities and things like that, they don't want to read a long paragraph. They don't read something that, and if it's short, great. But, most of the time they just want to see what you're trying to do. So, the pictures or something that, if they're interested and they see it, yeah, they'll probably respond. So that's what I did. I felt like that way worked way better than, a paragraph or anything like that. Or, yeah, you have good intentions on, explaining what you're trying to do, but, a lot of times they don't have time. They don't want to read that type of stuff.
Yeah, so, you might be the marketing genius, man, because that is extremely simple and it works. So how many people did you do that with, and how are you, I guess, capitalizing on that for the next step? So now you got some folks who have a name, who are wearing your product, who are helping you promote the product. What's the next step? How are you building on that to build the brand?
Well, the first thing you said I actually liked, because yes, I have those names, but we're not going to talk about it doesn't come easy. I maybe message over 100, 200 people, and, maybe a handful of them get back, and you can't let that discourage you in a business. They get, if somebody has, 13 million followers, they probably have 200 people messaging them a day. So I don't get discouraged, if they don't respond or they don't get back to me. So, to answer that, yeah, I've messaged, hundreds of people, just about the brand. And then what else did you just ask?
Oh, and I asked, so from the hundreds that you messaged, you had a handful that responded. You got the product in their hands. They're loving the product. They want to be a part of it. So how are you capitalizing on that? What are the next steps that you're doing to try to launch the brand using some of the, I guess, I wouldn't say celebrity endorsements, but using the fact that you've got some celebrities who are wearing the product?
Yeah, well, social media is the biggest thing. I post, if one of them like Niles Paul, for the Redskins, he sends me a picture, with them wearing something, or Anthony Tolliver for the Detroit Pistons. They send me stuff, and I'll post that on the social media. People actually see like, oh wow, like they wearing the things, or that just gives people, that's just how we work. America, they see somebody that's of a celebrity, they see them wearing something, they want it. That's just how we work. I can say, what's her name? Drea was wearing a pair of Balenciaga little tennis shoes, running shoes. I'm a person that I don't go by names, I go by quality and what the product is. And now all of a sudden everybody's wearing it. So that just proves my point out. You seen the pair of shoes, girl, you would probably throw up. But they're not, and it's just, they wear what, they see the celebrities wear. So, I feel like I just, took that, went to, social media, where people can actually see people wearing my sunglasses, the brand. And that helped me, catapult things to a different level where people may have took it more serious than what they thought when, the first month or so of me opening.
Yeah. So this is just an idea, from the non-marketing genius over here, still struggling to get a podcast off the ground. What if, using kind of that same strategy that you've got a few people that you already have wearing the product. What if you specifically messaged their teammates and people that they work with, and just send the same pictures with just like one line that says, hey, ask such and such a name about these shades, because that, they're in the same proximity with them all the time. And so it might be a way where now you kind of able to pass it on to this person who's already wearing your product of, hey, I've got his teammates, the people who already trust and know him and work with him every day, just taking a look at my pictures and then coming over and say, hey man, what's this about? Right. Have you tried anything like that?
Of course. Yeah. Well, actually, like D'Angelo Russell, he was actually with the Lakers before the Nets. And he actually told me that when he got the sunglasses that Jordan Clarkson and Randall, a couple of the teammates, they loved what he was wearing. And, I took that, and he told me that they wanted a couple pair, and I took that and I ran right to their inboxes, and, I sent them pictures of things and said, hey, you can ask D-Road, that's his nickname, about, this. And, yeah, that actually helped me, and I do that often, with certain players. I'll ask the players, that I actually, contact, is there anybody else that, you will want, or that wants something, or things like that. So, you have to look at that standpoint, especially, players that like on the East Coast. I always have, players on the East Coast asking for things, but, that's just because year round, that's a sunny place.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you way ahead of me, man. I'm just sitting over here brainstorming, and you are, oh yeah. I did that last week. Next question, sir. No, it's good though. I'm glad to see that you getting some traction with that, because the same way that I feel like you're having the issue with the name brand thing is that pretty soon your brand is going to be that name brand. And I think the leg up that you got is that you're putting a quality product out into the market, and you're getting it into the hands of the right people. So it's just a matter of time until folks see, oh, not only is this cool, not only are the people that I want to follow wearing it, but it's also a better quality than the stuff I'm paying even more money for today. So, win, 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 I think.
Right. And one thing to add to that, because you're talking about, the people that you want to wear your sunglasses on. One of the negative things that was not negative for me, but negative feedback from certain people, is, when I was first starting and with my prices and things like that is, there's certain people that are like, oh man, I don't want to pay that money for that, and, it's easy for you to get discouraged because, especially in Omaha, you go out, you try to market your sunglasses and they find out the prices and things like that. And these people are, reluctant to, support or, want to pay. But, those probably aren't the people you really want to wear your, to market your brand or to wear your brand. So I look at that as standpoint that is, I name my prices just as well as Ray-Ban mark their prices, or the next brand or any brand by that standpoint. I think my quality is actually way better than certain competitors. But at the same time, you people will pay more money for just the name, but I just don't get discouraged at that. I used to, get down a little bit, because people would say that about the price, but I feel like that's just not the people you want to sell to anyway.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%, because you know what the quality and the value of your product is, right? And you have to set that price. So way back in the day, long time ago, I sold cars. And I could tell you from experience that, the person who comes in to buy a car and they love the car, they want the car, you sit down with them and you negotiate for 4 hours because they want to get the absolute lowest price. And they do. They get the lowest price on this car that they love. The dealership is losing money on it. They got a better deal than anybody else. That person is going to be the one giving you the absolute worst feedback in the world. I've had people that I sold cars to that I sold them the car at sticker price or even above sticker price. But because they saw the value in the product and they liked the way that I treated them, those people were the ones who were, they're coming back in the next week and they're bringing other people. My cousin needs a car. My sister needs a car. My this, that, and the other, because they see the value. That's the customer that sees the value in the experience of working with you and the quality of the product that you have. And they pay that money because they know there's value behind it. And just like you said, those are the people I want. I don't want you to bring your cousin in with you next week when I just sat and spent 4 hours with you negotiating over $100. Don't bring me your cousin who's going to do the same thing to me. Bring me this person who's going to come in and see, yep, there's value in this. There's value in the fact that this person is going to be here to help me out and the quality of the product. I'm going to pay what it is worth. And I think it's the exact same thing with your shades. I like that attitude of, there's just certain people who are not your target market. It's certain people who are never going to spend more than, $15, $20 on a pair of sunglasses. Guess what? Yeah. There's no reason to try to convince them to spend more on it. That's just not somebody who's in your target market. But those people let's be real about it. Those same people, as soon as they see somebody else who they want to be like, spending the money on the sunglasses, they'll come buying from you. But it just takes
exactly right.
It just takes them seeing somebody else saying, "Oh, I gotta have that." So it's wild how we work, man.
Yeah, Joe, I couldn't agree exactly what you just said even more because if they see Chris Brown wearing it, then that's when they'll want it. The same people like you said, the $15, $20, on just not sunglasses, but anything. They'll treat the product, whatever product it may be, they'll treat it different. They'll treat it, not with, the same love or care, or, they won't represent it the way you probably want your product to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the standpoint, that's the way I look at it. I just look at it in the standpoint of, hey, if I sell 5 pair of sunglasses in a day to great individuals that, aren't, crying about the price or, being negative, I'll take that over watering down my price, or diluting the price just for people that, might lose the sunglasses tomorrow,
right.
And it's just, yeah.
because you put too much time and effort into building this brand for it to be represented that way. And at the same time, because you have a quality product and because it is worth the value that you're charging for it, that just puts more into that coffer for you to be able to go and, like you said, buy coats for kids in the wintertime, to go and actually, you know, take care of people in the community. If you take a product as quality as yours and you dumb down the price so that more people are buying it, but now you don't have the ability to use your platform for what you designed it for. You designed this platform to provide quality to the market, but then to be able to take the profits from that and to go back and give to the community. You know, your model only works if you have a product that stands up to that level of quality. And I'm telling you, shameless plug again, people, go to that website, check out his shades. You will see they're worth every single penny. And you're going to walk around being upset that you haven't had a pair of these on your forehead before you found them today. All right. Last shameless plug. I promise. I'm done.
Hey, no, keep them coming, man. Keep them coming.
But I want to come to some of the last questions that we have on this show, because, you know, we kind of went straight through some of the major things that I wanted to make sure we talked about. I know that faith is what drives you. You know, faith is fuel. That's the name of the company. But beyond that, beyond honoring your sister's memory and beyond, you know, taking care of your family and beyond taking care of the community, you know, just in general, as a man, what is it that drives you here and now?
That's a good question. Honestly, what really drives me is, other than the things you just stated, where it's probably just to be different, to be something that, you know, I feel like you don't see as much, you know, of going on now. You know, you don't see as many people, you know, trying to support or give or do, you know, positive things. You know, I just feel like nowadays I feel like all I see is so much negativity, especially, you know, on TV. I really don't never see anything positive. And I just want to be something that changes that, or changes the perspective, as a young Black man. And I'm not perfect. You know, I have a lot of things that I got to work on, but if I can still help or do or give, that's what I want to do. So I just feel like it drives me, you know, when bad things happen. You know, I can bring an example. You know, I mean, I tore my ACL. I love playing basketball still at the age 28. You know, I was the Air Force team, like, you know, and you know, I looked at that as, you know, I was down about it, but I looked at it, you know, now it's something that everything happens for a reason. Maybe I'm supposed to do something else with my life for, you know, 9 to 10 months. And that's just the way, you know, I look. So, you know, maybe I should be helping more kids. That's the way I look at that. I'll try to look at it as in a negative aspect. So, I really just want to be different for the better, for, you know, our community, for people.
I love it. All right. So what's coming up next then? I know that you got the surgery coming up on your knee. First of all, how's that doing, by the way?
Oh, it's going good. You know, the surgery is actually on Thursday. So, you know, I'll have a lot of time, you know, within the next month to do a lot of planning, get a lot of things done. I'm actually, we didn't really talk about that, but I got a lot of time to finish. I'm actually on one class for my degree, so I'm going to finish that up here online. So got a lot of time to do things that I need to do, you know, for myself and, you know, for this business, which is, you know, I have a lot of time to go out and once I can, you know, use my crutches, go out here and try to, you know, reach out to people.
Okay. Now, what are you getting your degree in? You said you got one more class before you're done?
Yeah, one more class. I have my degree in general studies, and that was one reason why I switched over from. I was about to say we didn't talk about that, but I switched over from active to guard. The reason why I want to switch over to guard is to pursue things that I actually wanted to. Active duty, you can do that, but I just feel like in my career field, you know, it consumes you. You really don't have time to. You can switch shifts. You can do different things that, you know, can, you know, change things for you that you won't be able to, you know, benefit yourself in, you know, if you have a business or you're taking classes. So, I felt like I was called to, I wanted to get my degree. I wanted to, own my own business. I wanted to, own more. I wanted to buy more houses, because I do stuff with real estate as well. So I just wanted to do more things, to pass down to, the younger generation of mine. So I just wanted to make sure that, my son could have something that I could pass down to if something ever happened, because working for the military, if I die tomorrow, my son's he can't take over the military for me. That's something that really, touched me. I thought, while I'm young, I might as well do this and, grow. I believe in what I'm doing. So just run with it.
Yeah. So hold on. You just glazed over that whole, oh yeah, I just want to buy more houses, I do real estate thing. So we hadn't even talked about that business that you got running. So are you, do you flip or do you buy and hold for rental properties?
Okay, well, yeah, actually what happened is when my sister, Shanina, when she died, she actually had a property. And I inherited that property. When I came back, I had to rent it out. I didn't really think much about it at the time. But, reading more, listening to, more, successful people, I thought, well, why won't I just, save up this money and buy another property? So I decided to buy another property. And then I rent that one out. And then I purchased, so I own 4 houses. I rent out 3. And so, I made a business. I actually call that Fifth Properties. So I buy them, if they need anything done, I'll fix it, and I just rent them out. I haven't flipped any homes now, but yeah, I just, and the only reason why I would have thought of that is, just listening to successful people. A lot of successful people have, properties or, it's a passive income, or something that, you can earn, you can pass down. So, I looked at that, and that's actually what helped me start my sunglass line was, that type of income, that extra income.
Yeah. All right. So we just going to go ahead. I'm going to let you know right now. I'm going to be getting emails about this. People are going to be like, hey, man, y'all need to talk more about that real estate. So let's just go ahead now. And I'm going to let you know that we're going to have to come back together and record another episode and talk all about the real estate game, because, just like anything else, man, anything that is out here where you can actually make a passive income, it's available to us in the Black community, but there's nobody talking to us about us from within our community about doing these things. We always got to go out and, like you said, like listening to podcasts, listening to people who, are in different communities or who are already starting off with millions of dollars and having to learn this game. And then we come back in and we try to do it for ourselves so we can then turn around and teach other people. And I want to get more voices like yours who are out here actually doing it, who can speak to it from the same level as somebody like me, right? Like I've got 2 properties right now only by accident, because I bought one and then my job made me move and it was right next to the Air Force Base. So we just rented it out instead of selling. So, we got income coming in on accident, right? But for somebody like me who's just like, okay, so how do I parlay that into the next property? I know there's a bunch of people like that out in our audience who are like, man, I got a little bit extra coming in. It ain't a lot. How do I get my hands on a property? How do I start this out? So I love to have another episode where we just talk that stuff out. Because I know that's a topic that's hot right now.
It is, yeah, and it's and there's so many things that I have a mentor that actually helps me with looking up things for programs, and like for the Black community, people that actually don't necessarily have the money to purchase a home. They actually have programs that can help you with assistance for that, and we just don't know that. A lot of programs people don't read or look into, and they don't just tell you how to go out and do it. You just have to research it. So, I mean, I found, tons of programs. Gerald, I found programs where you don't even have to pay taxes if you plan on keeping the house for your whole life. There's things that I've, read into and looked into that are, really would blow your mind when it comes to things like that.
That's the beauty of the podcast, though, right? Like, there was a time All right, so let me split us up. I hate to do it, but we got to. Right, there was a time where everybody would have to go out and do what you've done and do this research and then go make it happen for themselves. And then over the last like 10 years, this podcasting world has come out, and now you just got. I mean, that's honestly how every other community except the Black community learns how to do stuff now. Right? They just go and listen to
Right.
I want to do real estate. Listen to real estate podcasts, and boom, they get out and they start buying, selling houses. Oh, you want to sell online?
Exactly.
Cool. Let me go listen to a podcast about that. And then they get online and they start doing it. Like all the research is done now, and people just drop it in a podcast and start listening. The only people who seem to have not picked that up yet is us in the Black community. Like, we listen to podcasts, but most of our podcasts are entertainment podcasts. There's not a whole lot
Yeah.
that are about how do I solve problems and create things for myself. But you know, that's a lot of what I want to do with this. Is I want to be one of those early voices in the Black community on the podcast saying, hey, come listen to this show, because you're going to get the information you need to just literally go out and solve the problem. So what I would like to do is take advantage of the fact that you already did all the research and you making it work, and just, you know, pick your brain so that people can literally just listen to the episode and say, okay, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because that's the key thing about being a leader. And I know you know this, right? The reason that you do the things you do is so the next person has it easier. You know, the next generation has it easier. As long as we have that attitude of, well, I had to work hard to get mine, so start from the bottom, son, and work your way up. Like, we'll never get anywhere. No other
Never.
community does that. Every other community is like, all right, I'm gonna scrimp and save my entire life so that my kid can go to this private school. And then that kid goes to the private school, and they go and they start their business and they make millions so that their kid can just live off investments. And that kid lives off investments until their kids, you know, become the trust fund babies of the world, where there's hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. Generational wealth. Black folks, we still
Yep.
live in this mentality of, you know, there's virtue in the struggle. And yes, okay, there is, absolutely. But if you can put your kids in a situation where they don't have to, and teach them how they can then build off of it, I mean, that's how we change our position in this nation, is through building that generational wealth, passing down that knowledge. So I'm getting excited, man. Listening to you and the mindset that you have and the knowledge you have. I'm gonna pull you back, and I'm gonna pick your brain again.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah, and the thing is, the biggest thing I tell people is, Joe, I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not, I'm not really clever. I just, I have a will, and if you got a will to want to do something, you don't have to be the smartest, whatever, even the most artistic. You can just put your mind to something, and you can do it. And that's just my mindset. I'm confident. I believe in myself. I have faith. I really, believe in, what my brand stands for. Faith is you. So I just believe that with that, you can do anything. So, just stay confident, and with supporters and people that invest you, that's all you need. That's all the tools you need. So, I tell people all the time, I'm not the best speaker, but I'll speak. I'm not the best writer, but I'll write. I'm not, there's things that I'm not good at, but I'll do it, and I'll be confident in doing it. I'll get better and better and better. That's just the only way you're going to do it, to believe in yourself.
Absolutely. All right, man. So the next thing I got to ask you, so our listening community, this audience, what can we do? What can we do to help you with the business, with Fifth Shades Gives Back, with everything? What can we do to help?
The biggest thing, I just support of, letting you guys' community know about what we're doing. Anything that's, purchase aid, and people don't even like sunglasses, and they just want to support, they can reach our inbox, or message or call, and, donate money to just that program. And I specifically can show them where the money is going, with pictures and things like that. And I just really want to be able to help kids, more, because a lot of kids, they can't, change, the way they're living or what they're wearing. They can't provide that. So if you can touch a soul, you can help somebody. That's really what I want to do. So I just would appreciate the help, getting the name out here, getting the programs, like the Fifth Gives Back. I just want that to get out here.
Okay. And how do we contact you? So give us the website. Tell us which social media can we find you on, and then your email address. So if people want to reach out to you, they'll be able to get you.
Yeah, the website is fifshades.com. You can reach us on IG, Fifth Shades, and I have a Facebook, the Fifth Shades page as well. The email is currently fifthshades@yahoo.com. I'll be changing that probably here soon, but yeah, that they can reach me there, or and I have my cell phone number. If they have any questions, they can call me. I'll take a phone call any time of the day or night to talk about how to help a kid. So if somebody wants to contact me about that, or even some sunglasses, that my phone's always open or always on. So yeah.
Okay, doke. And what's that cell?
What was that? The cell is 402-320-0557.
Okay. I got it, man. I got it. So it's been good. It's been a good talk. It's been an eye-opening talk. I did not know that you were from here in Omaha. And that's even more amazing to me that the Air Force let you come back home so you can help take care of your family, and then having the ability to be here, to work here, and to stay here and grow your own community like that. That's the thing that I am trying to connect in here in Omaha. This is not my home community. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. That's where my home, that's where my people are at. And so,
really?
Yeah.
My dad's from Arkansas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Little Rock. Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what school he went to?
I do. I think he moved to 9th or 10th grade, he told me.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. Then he that's when he moved up here. But that's where he's from. He's from there. My mom's from Kenner, Louisiana. I lived there for a little bit. A lot of people growing up thought that's where I was. They could tell. So yeah, I changed a lot. But
okay.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
No, that is crazy, man. Another Southern kid, man. That's cool. Yeah, I'm a transplant from Little Rock. I've been up here just 2 years. But I'm trying to sink my roots in here, man. I love it here in Omaha. I'm getting connected with the Nebraska Black Chamber of Commerce. I made a connection with a woman named Felicia. I believe her name is Felicia Watson. She runs it's like a poetry, like a jazz poetry type of event that she does about every month. And she encourages, Black-owned businesses and networking and things like that there. And there's a couple other organizations here, but I'm trying to lay down roots here. And had I known that you were originally from here, I probably would have been hitting you up even more earlier to try to get more connections with you, because that's one thing I want to do, man, is I'm doing this podcast and it's going out to the whole world, but I want to do a lot more right here with the kids right in this community. So yeah, we got to talk. We gonna connect offline for more local stuff.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. Yeah, we got a lot of things in the community that we can do. There's a lot of things, a lot of programs going on as well that you'd probably be interested to find out about too.
That sounds good. We'll make it happen. All right, man. Well, we're going to close this thing up, this episode, which has been absolutely full of gold nuggets. I really appreciate you coming on. I got to ask you the final question. What is your number one piece of advice for the Buy Black community as a whole? It could be for other entrepreneurs, or it could be consumers out there in the market. That's completely up to you.
I'll just say my piece of advice for, probably both is to follow your dreams, to follow your aspirations on what you want to do. And if you have somebody that is doing something, just support them. Us as, business owners and entrepreneurs, it means everything to us, for the people that's closest to us, or even if you don't know them, for somebody that I've had people that come to me and might not even know me or contact me, and just the way they want to support, it brings chills to me. So it brings a lot to it. So yeah, that would be my biggest advice is, to follow dreams or, support somebody's dream that you can.
Absolutely. Follow your dreams or provide support directly to somebody who's following theirs, man. I feel that. And, man, I feel like I'm trying to live that. I like that advice because I never really knew what my dream was. I still don't really know what my dream is, but I knew I had a mission that came clear to me when I saw Alton Sterling and Philando Castile killed. I felt like I had a mission to change outcomes in the Black community in whatever way I could with my skills. And I feel like this podcast is my way of trying to support other people who have dreams that they're making a reality, man. That's powerful advice. So
yeah, and with your podcast, I feel like this is exactly, like the support, like the thing you're doing, Gerald, is like amazing. I was like taken back when, listening to a couple of things I have in the way, you're supporting and, getting us out there, as, entrepreneurs. I'm pretty sure, I know I'm thankful to be on on your podcast, and, I just to see, where it's going to go from here.
It can't go anywhere but up, man, because the great thing about podcasts, and this is why I know that eventually it's going to catch on in our community, is content is evergreen. You put it out into the world, it's always out there. So, once you've got a podcast episode, you can come back to that episode whenever you want to. You want to use it for marketing. You want to take snippets out of it for marketing for your business. It's just the content is here, and it doesn't cost that much to host it. So it's just a matter of, just putting businesses on blast. And the more of our Black-owned businesses that we can get out here on a free marketing platform with an audience that's going to do nothing but just grow bigger and bigger and bigger. Who else has that kind of ability to take an hour and a half and literally just spend the whole time marketing for your entire business and not charge anything? Podcasting is the only place where you can do that. So
right.
I feel like there's nowhere that this can go but up for our community. And then it's just a matter of doing, like you said, of just figuring out how can I take this thing that I've created and then use it to help other people to the biggest extent possible. So that's what we're going to keep doing here. The thing that you can do for me, man, is just do like you were saying, just tell other people about it, hook me up with other business owners so that we can get them put out here on the airwaves as well. And we'll just keep growing this thing locally together, globally together. I'm telling you, man, when good people get together to do things for other people, it can be nothing but good that comes out of it. So we just going to keep working. We're going to keep making it happen. All right, guys, I told you that was going to be an incredible episode, and Jamel definitely did not disappoint. We've been going for a while, so I will not take too long with this closing. 2 quick things. The first, remember, I definitely want to hear from you on the rebranding of the show, potentially to Build Black. But if you have another idea, let me know about it through email. That would be gjones@buyblackpodcast.com. And then the other thing is, I always want to remind you, we have the app in the Apple App Store that's going to be on any iOS platform. If you search Buy Black, Black Wall Street, you'll be able to find the app for this podcast. And then also join our community on Facebook. That is Buy Black Podcast Community Facebook group. I really appreciate you guys coming with me on this journey. Remember, we've got another episode that's going to be coming out later on this week on tax reform and what it really means for the Black community. Until then, y'all be safe, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for being part of the Buy Black podcast community. If you're enjoying the show, I'd appreciate reading your 5-star review in iTunes. Join us next time for another empowering episode.